The Ages of Chaos and the Realm Gate Wars saw savage fighting throughout every realm. Yet Ghyran, the Realm of Life, saw some of the most grueling and hideous battles. Nurgle's power waxed and waned throughout that war, and its epoch-ending conclusion led him to a new and hideous plan. During the Age of Chaos, each of the Dark Gods sent invading forces into every realm save only Azir, whose gates were barred against them. None would willingly concede any of the myriad prizes on offer to their twisted siblings, and so none could afford to ignore any realm entirely. Yet each favoured certain mortal realms, drawn to those lands closest to their own spheres of influence. Khorne, the Blood God, desired mastery of wrathful Ashqui. Devious Zench coveted the changeable energies of Shamon. The slinking servants of the Horned Rat committed substantial forces to Olgu and its concealing veils of shadow. Nurgle, for his part, set his greedy gaze upon the boundless bounty of Ghyran, the Realm of Life. The invasion that followed has become known as the War of Life, and it was as bitter a conflict as any that has raged since the Age of Chaos began. Ghyran is the realm of Alarielle, the queen of the radiant wood and goddess of natural life. She ruled over not only her own vast glades of Sylvaneth, but also countless mortal tribes and other merciless beings who slew those trespassers that threatened the sanctity of their lands, and were resolved to protect Ghyran with their lives. The horrors that Nurgle and his followers unleashed upon Ghyran tested that resolve to breaking point and beyond. Rivers clotted into oozing matter, life wells became stinking geysers of pus, forests crumbled and moaned, and the cycles and tides of the realm of life were perverted by disease and corruption into hideous parodies. The drone of countless insects echoed across the lands like thunder, rolling through dense clouds of foul miasma. Every battleground became a hellscape of rot, sludge and filth, riddled with parasites and indescribable foulness. Across the Jade Kingdoms, vast Talibans of Nurgle demons trudged relentlessly forward on every front, driving their foes before them. Rotbringers, the mortal chosen of Nurgle, led hordes of howling warriors into battle to destroy and despoil. Twisted herds of pestigores and bubo-pocked monsters rampaged through the wilds, while the slinking monks of Clan Pestilence added their rot-smog fumes to the slaughter. Alarielle was forced into hiding, and the last enclaves of her children fell back to strongholds concealed by sorceress veils and glamours. Though the Sylvaneth fought tirelessly, the mortal tribes fell one by one, while the elven wanderers fled to Azarheim, earning the eternal enmity of Alarielle's children. Even the Everqueen waned and slid into despondency as the Jade Kingdom sickened, until it seemed as though Nurgle must surely claim Ghyran for his own. Yet even in the face of such horror, heroism and courage prevailed. Alarielle escaped Nurgle's grip, and, through the brave sacrifice of her closest protectors, survived to be reborn in her full and wrathful aspect of war. Allied with Sigmar's Stormcast Eternals and the disparate armies of Order, she led a furious counterattack that drove Nurgle's armies back. From the Blackstone Plains to Hyperborealia, the Flittersea to the Vermilion Meadows, Nurgle's armies were outmatched. Though they fought with their usual mix of rambunctious glee and stolid determination, the Talibans and Contagiums were overrun. Nurgle looked on in wounded disbelief as his generosity was spurned, and his gift squandered across 100 fronts. The sternest blow fell across the Genesis Gate. This was the vast realm gate through many of Nurgle's reinforcements flowed into the realm of life. Ghyran was riddled with portals that the Plague God could use, but if the forces of Order closed the Genesis Gate, then they would cut off the most important arterial route through which his demon legions struck. It would not end the War of Life, but would surely be enough to change its course. So it was that Alarielle led the onslaught against the Genesis Gate and the sprawling sevenfold fortress that surrounded it. Alongside her marched chamber after chamber of the Stormcast Eternals, led by the hallowed knights and Sigmar's mightiest warrior, the Celestant Prime himself. They were opposed by armies comprised of Nurgle's demons, his mortal worshippers, and their pestilence allies. All led by Nurgle's greatest mortal champions, the infamous Glotkin. The battle was nothing short of apocalyptic. Eschewing any form of conventional siege, the forces of Order launched thunderous assaults that bypassed the outer defences of the Genesis Gate and brought vast swathes of the fortress' mouldering walls tumbling down. Battle was joined on a dozen fronts, and though the armies of Nurgle unleashed every plague and hex they knew, they were hard-pressed to hold out. The foul rat-men of Clan Pestilence turned upon their erstwhile allies, seeking to steal sorcerer's secrets for their own gain, and leaving Nurgle's armies in disarray, as Alarielle launched a headlong strike for the Genesis Gate. Though they took a savage toll upon their attackers, the Plague God's armies were defeated, and the Genesis Gate sealed. Alarielle's purifying magics ensured that Nurgle's servants could not easily reclaim the vital realm gate. Thus, she consolidated her victory upon this crucial site. For the forces of Order, this was a moment of grand celebration, yet for Nurgle it was a crushing blow. Victory in the War of Life, and by extension, dominion over all of Ghyran, had been his to claim. Yet somehow it had eluded him, slipping through his eager grasp like water. With the rich bounty of the realm of life at his disposal, Nurgle's might would have swelled, until it eclipsed that of all of his brothers. Yet his gambit had failed, and so he was left diminished. Nurgle became morose and withdrawn, disappointed in his followers' failures, and despondent at his own. His wars went into remission, and for a time his power faded.